to all our learners. Welcome to CEC lecture. Dear learners, the topic of analysis today is functionalism in international relations. In the lecture, we shall attempt to present a critical examination of the functionalist approach to the study of international relations. The lecture shall attempt to explain functionalism as an approach in international relations, relevance of its ideas in the formation of international organizations which advocate international cooperation, and how on the debates on these ideas on main aspects of functionalism as an approach in IR speak about importance of humanitarian, social, economic, scientific, knowledge issues in IR. In the lecture, we shall try to understand functionalism from the perspective of international organization, spillovers, neo-functionalism amongst others. Now, functionalism, as we all know, it is an important perspective in IR. What do we really signify by perspective? Perspective is a way of analysis of a concept, of a phenomena, of a process using the lens of assumptions, main ideas, key aspects presented by that approach. Functionalism as an approach in IR is contrasted with realism. The realist perspective gives primacy to the idea of states wherein they are perceived in the aspect of power struggle, and this power struggle is defined by 3S: statism, survival, self-help. Functionalism is having a very important place in the theory of international relations. The context of it is equally equivalent, namely the interwar period. We all know that IR has been traditionally seen as a discipline of wars. First World War paving way for the Second World War. First World War, which was a pan-European phenomena, whereas on the other hand, the Second World War was having its impact all over the world. Now, here in which the functionalist perspective, their main argument expresses concern about obsolescence of the state as an important form of social organization. Functionalism, it talks about the shared values, the shared beliefs, and how, above all, the important idea that achieving social order is very crucial in this realm, and thereby what is essential to locate here is value consensus. Value consensus forming an integrative principle to bind IR together. Now, we all know that international relations, when you look at it in a deeper manner, it's like a complex system wherein we have states with different interests existing together. The functionalist approach in IR draws light towards this complex system wherein the parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. The functionalist perspective draws our attention towards what can be said as macro level orientation and broadly focuses on the international structures that shape international relations in the bigger scheme of things. The focus is on common interests. We all know that interests are essence of states standing in international relations. Now, interests that are shared by states, and not only that but also by non-state actors. It is these common interests that is one of the important focus for the functionalist perspective. The common interests which are shared by states as well as non-state actors, say economic development, say the idea of sustainable development, amongst others, in a process of global integration that has been triggered by the twin aspect, namely, firstly, that is of the diminishing role of the state, and the second level, how this diminishing role of the state is being acquired by the non-state actors, looking at the increasing weight of knowledge, of scientists, of experts in the process of policy making. We all know that when we look at functionalism, it has relations to other disciplines also. Functionalism and its related research and studies have a place in other disciplines, and one must draw on it as well in order to have a holistic understanding of the functionalist perspective in IR. For example, in the realm of functional psychology, it was William James who pioneered the studies. Others like John Dewey, George Herbert Mead, Harvey, amongst others, have also done some important work highlighting the functional psychological perspective. And also functionalism has important takers and research in the realm of economics, international business, amongst others, and they too must be read with deep insight in order to have a holistic understanding of the functionalist perspective in IR. The historical roots of the functionalist perspective, namely in terms of the ideas they present, can be situated with the liberal idealist tradition. Important works that we have read with respect to the liberal idealist tradition, namely Immanuel Kant, talking about perpetual peace or how democracies do not go to war, or the big ideas presented by Woodrow Wilson's 14-point speech. All of it have insights into what the functionalist perspective talks about, namely shared values, common consensus, and how the states look after their interests with respect to cooperative mechanisms. Functionalism, as we all know, that we are living in a world where it is driven by globalization. Globalization signifies integration of the world markets with reference to the idea that is how forces of technology, information and communication have made the world a global village. Functionalism is important for globalization theory as well as strategy. We all know that how states in IR, as per the Westphalian principle, they drew their structures based on the idea of sovereignty and territoriality. Today, with the rise of globalization, these assumptions were somewhere challenged, as to read from the works presented by David Held and Skoll, that state theories they were built with the assumptions that identified the scope of authority with territory, aided by methodological territorialism. Now, what's happening here is that functionalism intends to build a form of authority which is based with reference to the functions and the needs, and this links authority with scientific knowledge, expertise, other development needs, technology, namely providing what can be said as super territorial concept of authority. The functionalist approach excludes and refutes the idea of state power and the political influence, namely the idea of state power that is very remarkably has been highlighted in the realist approach, while presenting their analysis and interpretation of the causes for such proliferation of international organization during the interwar. which was characterized by nation-state conflict and the subsequent years. According to functionalism, international integration, the collective governance and material interdependence, as we read from the research presented by David Mitrani, this between states develops its own internal dynamic as states integrate in limited, functional, technical and also the economic areas. The assumptions on which the functional perspective works. Firstly, that there is an idea or belief that process of integration takes place within a framework of what can be called as freedom, liberty or the human freedom, and that knowledge and expertise are currently available to cater to the needs for which the functional agencies are built. Then there is a belief and assumption that states shall cooperate in the process. Functional theory that intends to study international politics, thereby based on these assumptions, can be situated under the liberal school of thought in the realm of global politics. As pointed out, David Mitrani has been a pioneer with reference to development of the functional perspective in IR. Mutual trust and habits of cooperation, like say between governments and respective nation states, there is a belief that they are likely to develop, as the functionalist perspective holds, through sharing of discrete public responsibilities or functions. Example, prevention of pandemic, diseases, promoting sustainable development, management of air traffic control, all of it, say perhaps through creation of international agencies with limited and specific powers defined by the function that they perform. The functional agencies operate only within the territories of the state that choose to join them, and thereby there is this idea that it does not threaten state sovereignty. Functionalism, as we are trying to take the debate forward, can also be seen to be underlining the United Nations system, entire range of activity. To take reference, and you all must read that, the United Nations Charter, as highlighted in especially Article 55, talking about promoting conditions of stability, promotion of higher living standards, economic and social progress, amongst others. To take the example that how International Civil Aviation Organization, World Meteorological Organization, the World Health Organization, United Nations Children Funds, United Nations Development Program, all of it, how the functionalist perspective is underlining the United Nations system's range of activities, wherein international agencies with limited specific powers, that is defined by the function that they perform. Functional agencies operate only within the territories of the state that choose to join them, and nowhere they impinge on the state sovereignty of their respective partner governments. Dear learners, as we also delve on this idea of functionalism, we all know that international agencies, they meet the needs of development, which is aided by knowledge, the expertise. The benefits rendered by the functional agencies, it is argued in terms of merits of the functionalist perspective, shall be helpful for the people and above all stimulate an idea of participative development and expand areas and avenues of integration. David Mitrani's form follows function, that is, cooperation only works when it is focused on specific activities, namely functions, effectively through collective action, then by individual states, and above all the idea that this creates pressures to construct international structures that facilitate such cooperation amongst others. A prime example of it can be European integration. Functionalism is also known as peace by pieces, thereby the idea that is dividing the issues into sectors and promoting understanding in different sectors. For example, you divide the issue in sectors, classify the issues as doable, non-doable, conflictual, less conflictual, begin with the less conflictual one, give the lead to the scientists, economists, the knowledge, the technical perspective, and this is also and all of it can be also referred by in the work of Richard Cobden. An advantage that in the advantages of the functionalist perspective, that is how it presents the idea of cooperation as a doable idea, presenting the benefits of cooperation, highlighting spillover effects for other sectors, looking at greater cooperation that will result into functional linkages, interdependence, and above all the idea of peace. But at the same time, critics point out that it's a slow process, it requires patience, setbacks may emerge, it requires political wills, and above all the bigger issue of abdication of responsibility, handing over their responsibilities to functional bodies. Related to it is the work of neo-functionalism, which is in defense of functionalism. That is, the theory comes up with the work of Ernest Haas. The main aspects of it, that is, it's a reformulation of functionalist theory in the context of regional integration. Neo-functionalism is generally associated. Now, let's try to situate the focus. The focus is the political and economic goals, integration strategies. And the most important context where we can situate neo-functionalism is the European coal and steel community. Jean Monnet, the French entrepreneur, diplomat, administrator, visionary, who was also an influential supporter of European unity, he is considered as one of the founding fathers of European Union. The ideas of functionalist perspective and neo-functionalism, as read in the ideas of Jean Monnet, who was also a chief architect of European unity, who believed that in achieving integration in one sector of common policy amongst the sovereign state, this would eventually lead to a spill over into other policy areas. This idea also influenced, dear learners, let's underline, the Schuman Plan, the declaration in 1950, the statement made by the French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman, and proposing to place French and the West German production of coal and steel under one common high authority. Let's understand spillover. Spillover implies, which is also a very important part of the theory of neo-functionalism, that is the mechanism by which integration in one sector creates the conditions and incentives for integration in the another related policy area. The notion of spillover, if you go by Rosamond's work, is based on two logics. Firstly, the expansive logic that essentially argues that as stated with reference, as we saw in the case of coal and the steel community, how integration in one sector creates incentives and pressures to integrate in adjacent sectors. The second logic referring to deepening of integration in the same sector. An example here that we can put here, the customs union. So what one finds that in Haas arguments, he pointed out that neo-functionalism, when looking at the time of mid-70s, he looked at it as obsolete. That is, European Commission was a complex political system. Therefore, one should not be look at it solely as a integration project. However, looking at the way European Monetary Union worked, economic and monetary union between 1992 and the later years, which made the establishment of Euro possible, experts did critique to that pointing out that neo-functionalism still is valid. Now, the arguments that are there, for example, when we look at Hoffman and Moravcsik works, that how interests of individual nation states, they play an important role. States still play a central role with reference to the global affairs. And the idea by Hoffman and Moravcsik that individual governments which control the speed of integration within the European Union also cannot be ignored. A very interesting line of critique that comes forward with the Ilstrup and Sangiovani's perspective, that is intergovernmentalism's critique of neo-functionalism, namely that how the intergovernmentalists, they dismiss the attention placed on non-state actors, focusing on continued attention of the states and their conception of the national interest. And above all, one cannot ignore the complexities of negotiation. Member states have coherent, unified negotiating positions and were thus able to resist efforts from organized interests both at the domestic and European level. This has also been criticized for assuming a degree of automaticity in integration processes and failing to account for increasing protectionism, limitations to integration put up by member states at time. So what we get forward, an important perspective, that is a very important work by Lewson Ashworth and David Long, that we must take for further reference. New perspectives on international functionalism, wherein the work is attempting to re-examine functionalism as an approach to global politics and how functionalism has been marginalized simply as a pre-scientific precursor to regional integration theory. Whereas the work points out that in fact functionalism is a global view of states and international organization working towards peaceful and constructive world order through cooperative relations across the borders to satisfy human needs. And the main argument of the book that can be also used for a reference for further writing answers, developing our thesis, is that functionalist approach can be useful to issues, problems and conflicts in contemporary global governance. So dear learners, as we point out that how the functionalist perspective is important with reference to IR, do refer to the work of B. Rosamond, that is Theories of European Integration, a very interesting perspectives given by in the P.S. Smithers and Ernest Haas work, Legacy of Neo-Functionalism. This is from Journal of European Public Policy. So what we find here is that functionalism and its related aftermath of neo-functionalism presents important perspectives with respect to cooperation, with respect to situating the role of integration, international organization, with the bigger picture of global peace, solidarity and stability in IR. We hope the lecture on the functionalist perspective in IR was useful for you. It gave you significant insights to prepare for your competitive examination, higher studies, research papers, amongst others. We look forward to positive and encouraging feedback from you all for the lecture. Thank you very much for being with us for the lecture.